Hi everybody, so it's now time for a brand new Technique Tuesday. This is week 3 and I have put 20-minute-ish because we all know that 20 minutes is maybe undoable for me. Anyway, the whole point is that these little videos on a Tuesday are just techniques. So showing you how to do things rather than actually making cards. So when I've planned the schedule for these videos, I'm trying to show you lots of different things and lots of different ways you can use things that you may already have. And today we're going to talk about triple embossing. So heat embossing with embossing powders, but done 3 times. Now, if you've followed me for a long time, you may have seen me do this before. But the whole point of this video is for new followers, new subscribers, and to just maybe refresh your memory about what we can do and all the different techniques that we can do in our crafting. And then it's up to you how you apply that in your card making or your scrapbooking or whatever you do, because we all know that loads and loads of these techniques, they just cross over into so many different genres of crafting, and this is the whole point, to show you how to do it, how easy it is, and then for you to apply it in your own style with what your style of craft is. So let's talk about triple heat embossing. Why do we do it? So personally, for me, I absolutely love the effect. You can see I've got some little sentiment die cuts here. I love the effect you get from triple heat embossing, particularly on delicate die cuts. It looks like enamel. Now, obviously, I'm using our embossing powders, and you may or may not know this, but we've got quite a wealth of different embossing powders. We've got 18 in the premium range, we've got 6 in the superfine range, and we've also got 12 in the twinkling range. So the twinkling are the ones that have the glitter within the actual embossing powder, the colour. So I thought what a really good way to do this demo would be to show you one of each, to show you the difference that these make. So I'm randomly going to choose a colour. These embossing powders are all different, obviously. So I'm going to go, too many choices. Let's go with aqua. So we're going with soft aqua from the twinkling range. We will go with, there's too many choices. Decisions. Let's go. So that's a turquoise colour. So let's go pink. So we will go Fabulous Fuchsia from the premium range. And we will go, let's go, silver gold copper. Silver gold copper. Let's go. let's go silver. It took me too long to decide. That's the problem when you've got these. And remember as well, in fact, you know what, I'm going to do that while we're here. We're going to do that whilst we're here. So pretend you didn't see me choose those 2. So we've now got 3 different embossing powders. So I'm going to talk to you about the difference first, because you may not know that there are so many different kinds of embossing powder on the market. Mine are made for me by Wow. So the colours and everything are exclusive to me, to Sentimentally Yours, but Wow make these powders for me because, let's face it, they are the best at what they do. So they were the people who I approached when I originally went independent and started producing my own products. So this is the twinkling embossing powder. So just so you know what this is made of, this is actually a clear embossing powder with flecks of glitter in, and these are super fine little flecks of glitter. So it's the clear embossing powder that encapsulates the glitter flakes, that gives you that sparkle finish. The premium ones, so the premium embossing powders, we've got, I can't remember whether I think it's 18. We've got 18 colours in the premium range, and these are translucent. They're amazing. If I had to choose for you, obviously we're always drawn to the superfine metallics, but if I had to choose a collection for you to start off with, it would be the premium ones because the colours are just stunning. And when you do the double or triple embossing technique, it looks fantastic. It looks like glass. So these are, as I say, transparent. So if you're working on white card, which I am today, the colour will be exactly as you see it. If you work on a black card or a dark coloured card, you will lose some of the colour, but you will get a tint of it, but with the glossy finish. It looks awesome. And they also look fabulous on silver mirror card, just saying. So that is the Twinkling and the premium, and then we've also got the superfine metallics. So the superfine metallics are the ones that everybody always goes for first, because they are silver, gold, copper, the clear, white. These are the ones that people are always drawn to first, and these pick out every detail. In fact, all my embossing powders will pick out the detail in stamps, particularly. The Twinkling ones I wouldn't recommend for very delicate sentiments. So if you've got a teeny tiny sentiment that's got swirls on it, these probably aren't the ones to go for, but any of the other two are. So we will start with the premium. So this is Fabulous Fuchsia. And what we've got here are two different sticky pads, inky sticky pads. We've got Perfect Medium and we've got Versamart. Both of these will work perfectly. Now, if you've seen me before, you will know that I tend to favour Perfect Medium for my dirty jobs, I call them. So where I'm going to be pushing the die cut into the pad, I prefer Perfect Medium. It just means that I can keep all my Versamarts lovely and clean and use them just for stamping images. And let's face it, embossing powders are not just for stamping and heat embossing images. You can melt these in a little tin, pour them into molds. There's just so much you can do with embossing powders. So let's have a look at what I've got here. So I've got my dirty one, which you can see has got lots of twinkly embossing powder already in it. And that's because we're doing 3 layers of it. So every time you push it in, a little bit of residue is left over. And then I've got the cleaner one. Well, I say cleaner, these are both quite old. So I'm not going to use the glittery one because we're saving that for the Twinkling. So I've got here a selection from my doodads, my framed sentiment dies. So this is the Happy Birthday set. This is what I generally do triple embossing for. I absolutely love it. So on a delicate die cut like this, we're going to change the colour, and we're also going to get a fabulous, almost glass-like finish. And the bonus, the double whammy, is it will strengthen these die cuts as well. So I have used the frame sentiments for all of these, but I've chosen a different phrase for each one. We're keeping the shadow plain white, and we're going to start with this. So equipment, what do you need? You need a Perfect Medium or a Versamart, whichever is your choice, and you need a heat tool. I've got loads of different heat guns all over. It just so happens that this woodware one is the one that I always have plugged in at the side of me. It doesn't really matter which one, as long as you've got one. And a bit of paper. This is the really technical piece of equipment, a sheet of paper. This is just to catch the embossing powder. Just getting a drink, I've got a coffee at the side. So, bit of paper. It's important for me to just mention to you as well that all of my embossing powders, regardless of which range it is, it does have built-in anti-static powder as well. So the need to use your anti-static bag is reduced. I would still, as part of your heat embossing routine, I would still use your anti-static bag if you're stamping and embossing a stamp. It's just a good habit to get into, but it's not essential for these, particularly for this, because we're obviously going to layer it up. So take the die cut, we're going to push it into the pad. Now, what I'm going to say, the first thing is, don't be tempted to push it right in so that it gets stuck into the pad, because you can see, look there, look, I've just pulled a bit of my Perfect Medium off because I pressed it too hard. We'll do both at the same time. We're doing 3 layers. So the whole point is, it doesn't matter if you've got a little gap or little bits missing for the first layer, because the second and the third are what finish it off, and it looks awesome. So I'm going to speed up a little bit. So pop that to one side. We are going with Fabulous Fuchsia. Remember as well, these little pots, these 20mm pots are absolutely packed. I've been using this one, obviously. So when you get these, they are packed. So if you've got little lumps in there, it's not lumps. It's just where the powder has got compacted in transport and what have you. But when you start using it, they will break down. So we're just going straight over. No, you don't need any fancy techniques. You don't need to do any of the left and right facing things like I teach you with embossing sentiments. We are literally just adding the first coat. So you can see, look, straight away, that's patchy. Absolutely fine. Not stressing about that at all. And it looks like I missed a little bit off the A. Absolutely fine. Don't stress. The whole point is build up the layers. So let's pop that back in. Another little tip for you whilst I'm just doing this is to advise you not to decant the embossing powders from their pots into a larger pot, because you do start to lose the anti-static properties once you do that. So let's emboss the first layer. I am using my brown mat, which is heat resistant. What I've got to bear in mind is the duck egg one I've got underneath is not heat resistant, so I might need to bring it up higher. So speed, it doesn't matter whether you use low speed or high speed. I'm just going to go high speed so it's quicker. And I'm just going from above. And already, even though this is patchy, it actually looks really lovely. So that's the first one. And this is the birthday. So happy and birthday have been done. So I'll just show you now what these look like. Let me just clean that. You know, I can't be doing with mess. Let me just clean this bit of powder off my mat. There we go. So this is how it looks after the first layer. And already you can see, yeah, we've got texture in there because I didn't push it in too hard. I didn't push it into the perfect medium too hard, and that's absolutely fine. We're going to repeat that process 2 more times. 2 more times, and you do need to just let it cool down in between, just so that it's not melting. It's not going onto warm embossing powder, warm cardstock. I think it might be time to treat myself to a new perfect medium. But don't throw them away, because they don't waste them. So I'm pushing that in, and now I'm just trying to make sure that I've covered the areas that I know were a little bit patchy. In fact, let me just put that back in again. I am doing this with my finger, it doesn't matter. You can get perfect medium daubers as well, which I have got somewhere. But this is actually the quickest way to do this. Oops, it's good I knocked the one over that wasn't open. This is a really nice way to spend a couple of hours as well. So if you've got a load of die cuts, remember I'm doing sentiments because I think this looks awesome on sentiments. You can do it on flowers, you can do it on your butterflies, on your dragonflies, whatever you want. But it's a useful skill to have this. So I won't put the lid on. We will emboss. We will melt that powder another time. Just let the heat tool warm up. I'm a few inches away, as you can see. This looks so good, just on the second coat. And before I melt the happy, I'm going to show you this birthday, so you can see the difference between one layer and two layers. This looks awesome. So this is one layer. Let's put it on some white paper. I will speed up. Will I be done in half an hour? Well, we'll see, won't we? It's not about the time, it's about the techniques. So if you look at the top one, and then look at the bottom one, look how beautiful that bottom one is just after the second layer. So let's get that melted and get caught up. And do you know what's even better? This is just plain white cardstock. It's not fancy cardstock, it's just plain white cardstock. Oops. Stay off. And I'm just going to wipe up the mess because I can't be doing with bits of mess. That will wipe off with a doodah, with a wipe. And then one more time. So triple embossing, this is 3 times. So the third layer is now going to finish this off and give us that beautiful glass-like effect. And we've already got a decent coating. So the second coat actually fills in most of the gaps. The third coat is just to finish it off. And it really does. It makes a huge difference. You get a little bit more colour intensity. And you also get a proper glassy finish. Remember, this is the premium range that I'm using at the moment. I'll just pop the lid on there for a second. This is any of the premium colours will do this. So regardless of which colour, any of the premiums will give you this effect. So that's the third one. And that's the third one. Pop that back in. The good thing about embossing powders is they last for so long. And the other good thing about the premium range is you can mix the colours. So you can do two-tone effects by mixing the colours, and where they overlap it creates a secondary colour. So if I had gone with well, I don't know, one of the blues, where with this colour, where it overlaps, we would get purple, which I think is really rather fabulous. So let's just do the last one. Just make sure the heat tool is warm before you start melting. Make sure the air is warm. Oh, that's amazing. This is amazing. You would not think this was a piece of cardstock. Are you ready for this? This is fantastic. I'm going to put it on the white card so you can see it. Just make sure it's melted before you stick your... make sure it's cooled down before you stick your tools in. Yeah, that's cool enough. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. Let me see if I can get really close so you can see how glossy and glass-like that is. And that is plain white cardstock. How fabulous is that? So that is the premium range. And also because we've embossed that, these are actually now much sturdier. And I won't stick it now because time is obviously dragging on, you know what I'm like. But if you pop that onto your white shadow or your black shadow or whatever you decide to do, let's just show you how fab that looks. Obviously it's not perfectly positioned because I'm not gluing it on, but let me just show you this. How fabulous is this? I love that. Absolutely love that. So let's just pop that to one side. If we've got time at the end, I'll stick them together and we can see how they look properly. So that little bit of melted embossing powder will come off your brown mats, so don't you worry about that. And now we'll move on to the Twinkling, because this is the one that I use the least. However, for your Christmas cards, it looks awesome. So let's have someone special for this. So same again, it's from the Frame Sentiments dies. And I don't know whether you remember, if you've seen these dies before, you will know that they come with all the little layering frames. So effectively, if you're making quick cards, they are perfect for it. Right, we're 20 minutes in, so speed up, Phil. Move that to one side. And it's exactly the same technique with the twinkling. It's just that the twinkling embossing powders need to be melted on the low speed. So let's do this, exactly the same. I'm not worried about the glitter that's in there. This is why I keep this one for the twinkling embossing powders. We'll get the same effect, but obviously it won't be glossy. It will be sparkly. And this is another awesome technique. Who says embossing powders are just for stamping and embossing stamps? I missed the end of the S. You can do so much with them. They're a really good investment because they last so long as well. Oops. So I can see I've got a little bit of the perfect medium on there. Let me just scrape that off. There we go. So do shake up the twinkling ones. Just to remember, I said to you at the beginning of the video that these are actually clear embossing powder with glitter flakes in them. So just give it a shake up just to make sure it's all mixed in. And then we'll do the first layer, which we know is going to be patchy. These are really, really fine. But we know the first layer will be a bit patchy. Look at this colour. That is just so pretty. The hardest thing is choosing colours. I know that. But I can't help you choose colours. It's personal preference. You know what you like. So let's just get that. I'll flick it this side. That is where my bin is. Although I'm pretty sure most of that didn't go in the bin. So let's do the first melt. Low speed is what I would recommend. I'm going to flick to high speed just to be a bit quicker. So the thing to remember with the twinkling embossing powders is they melt much quicker than the others. And it's tricky for me to show you this, but you know it's melted when you get a slightly different tone. Let me see if I can't. I'll try and do it from the side. So when the glitter looks a little bit darker, that's when you know the powder is melted. You can actually see it change. And that's purely because the clear embossing powder within the twinkling embossing powder has melted. So repeat that process. Let's show you the first layer. I mean, it actually looks quite pretty just after one. But that's not strong enough for us. We want it better than that. And this is why we've got little bits of glitter in the perfect medium. So lift that off. Lift that off. It doesn't take it all off, as you can see, look. Well, I've got a little bit of pink glitter in that. In that turquoise. It must be from the tweezers. So second layer, let me see if I can get that off because that is really going to bug me. No, it's too late. Hey ho. We've got a little bit of the fabulous fuchsia in the turquoise. It's from the tip of my poker tool. Look. Never mind. It's just to show you the techniques. So already, just from putting the second layer on, I can actually see the colour is much stronger, which is spot on. I'm going to speed up. And I know I'll probably run over the 20, 30, well, I'm already over 20 minutes, but I am showing you 3 techniques, so that's how I justify it. So it's the same technique, 3 different finishes. So same again. Oh, this is so much sharper. Oh, it's just so good. I've done this for years and it never fails to impress. So this is now after 2 coats. Look at that. Look at that. How fabulous is that? And we are going to do the third, because you need to see it's worth the extra couple of minutes just to do the third layer. I'm just going to go in a little bit more on this side. Doesn't matter about the back of the sentiment, because it's going to be stuck onto the shadow, so you're not going to see it. So third layer, I will put the lid on so that I don't stick my finger in it, and we will do the third layer. So this now effectively is like having a glitter cardstock in all these colours, all the colours of the embossing powder. The difference is, and the reason I prefer this to a glitter cardstock, is that I think this looks a little bit more special. I think you've got the texture from this. You've also got the gorgeous finish. So, and you're not having, where if you were to use a cardstock, you would end up with the white edges from die cutting it. We've got none of that on here. Oh, this is so good. So last one. This is so good, everybody. I wish you could see this in real life. It looks amazing. Can you see how much quicker it is to melt with the Twinkling embossing powders? It's really easy to overheat them. You literally just need to move your heat gun along and it's melted. Look at that. How fabulous is that? And this is now encapsulated. So you're only going to get tiny bits coming off. It's not going anywhere. And if I put one of these words onto the shadow, I'll just do special, pop that there, pop that there. If I pop this onto the white shadow and show you this, it looks phenomenal. It's not lined up, obviously, because I'm not sticking it down with glue. But oh, look at that. Look at that. How fabulous is that? Right, so that is the Twinkling embossing powders. I'm going to speed up a little bit. I keep saying that, and I don't, do I? But who cares? I'm having a lovely time, and I hope you are too. And I hope I'm showing you something that you may not have seen before. And it's definitely worth having this skill in your arsenal. Oops, I'm just taking off the glitter. I don't want it in my metallics. Right, so the last one, we're going to move on to the metallics. So I am going to do this in silver, and then we're going to change it. What time am I on? I'm on 28 minutes. So back to my clean perfect medium. I'll make sure there's no pink at the end of here or turquoise. And we're going to do a base coat of silver. Base coat of silver. I was a bit rough with that. Apologies. There we go. Who knew? Who knew? So base coat of silver. So this is the pure silver. And this, because this is metallic, it isn't opaque. So even from one coat, we will get a fabulous metallic silver sheen. The difference is when you just do one coat, you will get some texture in there, almost like a hammered effect. You can see I've missed a little bit from the end there. So I'll pop that back in the pot. So I'm going to change it up a little bit for this demo. We are still doing 3 layers. So we're going to have 2 coats of silver, And then we're going to introduce some copper and gold into it as well, because we can. So from one layer look, this is actually quite awesome. It looks like hammered metal. So if you like the texture this gives you, you could stop at one layer. I prefer it to be smooth so that it looks like molten metal. So if I just bring that in and show you, I'll just show you one. So this is after one layer look. So we've gone from plain white cardstock to silver, and it almost gives you like a hammered effect. But we are doing another layer of silver, and this is where it starts to look super smooth. It's like it's really like molten metal. I told you I can't help you choose colours. My personal thing would be, obviously the metallics are essential, but my personal preference is the premium ones. I love the premium colours and I love the effect it gives. It's just something a little bit different, a little bit special. So second layer with the pure silver. And this now will be a lot smoother because we're going over an already embossed layer. If you've seen me before when I'm heat embossing sentiment stamps, you know that for sentiments I always heat from underneath. But for this technique you don't need to, you can just do it from above, it's fine. We've only got a couple of minutes left, so we won't be long now. So again, heat this up. I'm using fast speed. So now it looks like molten metal. And it's much smoother. In fact, it's awesome. This is not the same as die cutting from Miricard. This is absolutely awesome. I'll just let that cool down for a second. Wait till you see this. Don't worry about the powder on your mats because it does wipe off. Just make sure that's cooled down enough. Oh, look at this. I don't think that one's cooled down. Oh, it has. Look at this. So now we've got an almost molten metal, smooth finish on that. But now we're going to take it another stage further. We're going to enhance this. Enhance seems to be my word of the week. So now what we're going to do is introduce a little bit of gold and a little bit of copper. So we're going to have a trio tone. Now you've seen me do this before probably. I love having a trio tone. So because we've got 2 layers of silver, I don't want to cover the silver up. So I'm just pressing a little bit in areas, yeah? I'm not covering the whole thing. If you're doing this with a sentiment stamp, it's probably easier to control because you can just re-stamp it and then put the powder where you want it. But this will give us some scope. We'll go in with gold first. So I'm just going straight over the top. I'm just going to put some little areas with gold. And then I'll take that off. So I've taken off the gold. You're going to love this. And remember what I'm doing now, you can do with the premium embossing powders also. So you can do 2 or 3 tones and mix them up. I wouldn't recommend you do it with the twinkling ones. I think the twinkling ones look better as they are. So let's just have a little bit of copper. And where we overlap the gold, it will melt into the gold as well. Try not to do too much because I still want to keep the silver. So we still need some silver. Yeah, that'll be enough. I'm just going to put a little bit more copper on the end of this H. Because I can. That's better. Oh, let me just show you that. Can you see that little blob at the top? That's actually compressed powder. Look, it just breaks down. So this is the pure copper. And we are nearly done. We're on the last bit. I've gone from 30 minutes to nearly 40, but who cares? We're having a lovely time. So remember, get the heat gun warm before you do this. This is stunning. I'm trying not to dig my heat tool into it. Are you ready for this? Just let that cool down for a sec. Oh, I've just dragged the poker tool right through it. Easy fix. Remelt it. So let's try this one. That one's almost cool. This one just needs another minute, another second. Oh, this looks so good. White paper. Are you ready? Are you ready? Da, da, da. It does dry, does cool down relatively quickly. Look at this. How about that? And this is the power of triple embossing. Let's just pop. Let's just do hugs. This is sending hugs, obviously. So let's just put hugs on there and show you how that looks on its white shadow, because this is special. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? So there you go. That's 3 different techniques with triple heat embossing using die cuts. I've clearly used sentiments for this because this is generally where I do this the most. They all look absolutely stunning. So the effects are different from each set, as you can see. Oh, that's just not going to behave for me, is it? So the premium embossing powders give you that beautiful glass-like finish. The metallic embossing powders give you that lovely molten metal finish. And the twinkling embossing powders give you this gorgeous glittery finish as well. So that's 3 different finishes, still triple heat embossed, and they all look absolutely fabulous. I did tut then. But tutting was kind. There you go. So what I'll do is, when I take the photo, I'll try and do a little close-up for you. And there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that. And I hope you've learned something as well. So remember, premium powders give you the glass finish. The metallic superfines will give you the molten metal finish. And the twinkling will give you the gorgeous glittery finish. So there you go, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed that and you've learned something. And I hope it encourages you to get your embossing powders out and have a play, particularly with your die cuts, because it's just a fabulous way to use them. It's not just about stamping and heat embossing stamps. You can do so much more with them. So this was week 3 of Technique Tuesday. I'll just do a quick little reminder. If you are not in our Facebook group, you can search on Facebook for Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours and ask to join our fabulous group. You do need to remember to answer all the group membership questions when you apply to join. Otherwise, the system will automatically reject the application if you've not answered the questions. And obviously, if you haven't yet, please do subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell, and you will be notified every time I go live, which is a Monday evening at 7 PM UK time. And I will see you next Tuesday for our next Technique Tuesday video. Thanks, everybody. Bye.